Hi, this is Zach here with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Thursday, the 5th of June. Starting off with the FTSE and still grappling with that 100-point range, 8,700 to 8,800, trying to get through that. Still looking for a proper end-of-day close, probably through 88.20, to then signal we're ready to take on the highs of March through 89.20 and then hit the top of that broadening triangle from the end of March last year as high as 9,000. Looking for that really now by the end of this month, not even the end of the next month. On the downside, 8,700, the obvious support, but we might have to allow for 8,650 in the initial May resistance in case of any rug pull that might materialize. Moving on to the DAX, and here stretching for the top of that rising trend channel from the end of March last year. The level there now up to 24,700, so obviously looking for that perhaps in the next week or two, or even sooner. We've got recent swing low support there, 23,700 above the old March resistance, and then therefore relatively confident that we'll get up to 24,700 over the course of some time in June. Moving along to the Dow, and here it's been very interestingly poised, just trying to break through that resistance line there from February. Fortunately, that line might actually be like that rather than as it's been originally drawn, but the level there, I suppose, 42,600, and we're only really safe. We get through March, May resistance through 42,800, then that would suggest we're up to the next level up there, 44,000, the March resistance on the way down. But I suppose the better news is that the floor of the channel there from May last year, 42,000, looks pretty well entrenched now, and we do have the 50 and 200-day moving averages rising, RSI at 57, so right in the box seat in terms of pushing to the upside when the market's ready, although it would be understandable that most might now think that it's better to wait for 42,800 to break. Worst case on any rug pull apart from 42,000 would be the 50-day line, way down at 41,000, but hopefully it won't come to that. Moving on to Bitcoin, and here the position is that we are consolidating basically in the middle of the initial May range, so that was 101 to 106. Want to see a proper clearance now of 106 on an end-of-day close basis to suggest that we're not only going to retest the record high at 112,000, but can make it up to the top of that rising trend channel from March last year as high as 124,000. Probably now by the end of next month, but still a chance if we have a quick move to get there by the end of this month. Moving on to gold, and here I wouldn't say it's been a struggle, but the market has taken its time, probably wasted at least a month in terms of consolidating between 3,200 and 3,400, but you can see now that we've got support at the old, or at the April resistance line, 33.30, which has now become support, and above that, looking for 3,800 as soon as the end of next month. On the downside, the 50-day line there, 32.49, provides a natural support area if there was a rug pull outside the confines of that March rising trend channel. RSI at 57, so in the perfect place for potential move to the upside, probably triggered by an end-of-day close above recent resistance through 3,400. Moving on to the stocks, and there was decent news from Bluebird today. Perhaps the share should be up even more than 45%, but Bear Trap Island reversal, one of our favorite setups, and above the top of the gap there, 0.35, we're looking for at least the 50-day moving average of 0.55, even if the stock withers away again after that. Best case would be up to 0.8 pence at the top of that falling trend channel from August last year. Stock which we've covered quite a lot in the recent past has been Corcel, and probably more to go given the way that we're on our second unfilled gap to the upside. Looking for a best case scenario target there at 0.45, and looking for that by the end of this month while we're above the gap floor there at 0.3 pence. On to a stock which has been one of the highlights of the recent past, Defence Holdings, and here decent consolidation at the higher levels. We had our best case scenario target at 0.72 after hitting all the other targets all the way up. Above 0.72, looking for it up to 1.07 by the end of this month as a best case, as a new best case scenario target. Ideally, we stay on the right side of 0.6 on an end-of-day close basis in the meantime. Moving on to a stock which I don't normally cover, which is Dr. Martens, and here Nice clean break of the 200-day moving average. We had a nice rising 50-day line as well. And above that 200-day line at 62 pence. Looking at the top of that triangle there from July last year, as high as 82 pence by the end of this month. There was big news for GreenRoc yesterday, with the EU giving it the thumbs up as a strategic play, and it's building on that as well. We had 3.5 pence as the target after the initial target at 2.5 pence was hit and then tested as new support, and we're now looking for up to 4.8 pence, hopefully in coming days, which was the old late 2023 resistance for this stock. But you can see that whole U-shaped turnaround, it looks like an inverted head and shoulders. We're looking very, very strong indeed, and the 5 pence area probably now regarded as the minimum, especially while we're above 3.5 pence. On to Helix Exploration, which has announced a fundraise today. Here we've had a decent turnaround already, so a bear trap below the 200-day moving average, and now still heading for where we thought it was going to go, even before the fundraise, up to 23 pence, which is a resistance line projection there from back in December. But that's certainly valid while we're above that 200-day line at 17.6 pence. On to Jubilee, which has announced disposal news today. We probably would have thought the shares would be up more than 2.5%, but we have come against resistance at the 200-day moving average and the top of that falling trend channel there at 4.2 pence. Looking for a break of that area, especially 4.5 pence above that. Then the next level really would be the 5.5 pence area, which was support on the way down back in August. The positive here is the way that we've had two RSI bounces at and above neutral 50 in the recent past, so that has been a leading indicator on a potential break of 4.5 pence and a move to 5.5 pence by the end of this month. Just upset the bears, where we're looking at Smarter Web again, which has bought some more Bitcoin. Here you can see that the stock is keen to show us that it's found support at and above 80 pence, and the target still towards 110 pence, which is the top of that rising trend channel from the beginning of last month, especially while we're above 80 pence. If there is any rug pull, it is the floor of the channel there, currently around the 72 pence area, which would be the area for any knife catching people to enter the fray. On to the last two. The first one is a slow burn, or has been, Tungsten West, but even here we can see that we are heading rather quickly towards the top of that rising trend channel at 8.4 pence, looking for that in coming days, while we're above yesterday's resistance at 6.5 pence. Finishing off with Zanaga, and here the picture is that of a wide rising trend channel. It's been in place for quite a long time, since November. Best case scenario here up to 13 or 14 pence by the end of next month, while we remain on the right side of 8 pence, the floor of that rising trend channel. RSI bouncing at and above neutral 50, so that gives us hope that we are going to be on our way. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.